April 30th, 1945, 3:15 p.m. Berlin, Germany. The air inside the four-bunker is thick with sweat, cordite, and the sour smell of concrete dust. Soviet artillery pounds the city above like a giant's heartbeat. Every blast shakes flakes from the ceiling. Light bulbs sway. Somewhere in the tunnels, a woman is quietly crying. Adolf Hitler stands in a narrow corridor, shoulders slumped inside a gray-green uniform that no longer fits the man he's become. His left hand trembles. Not from fear, from Parkinson's. His eyes, once burning with obsession, now look hollow, unfocused, already halfway gone. You can almost hear Berlin dying above him. The Third Reich is finished. Maps are pinned uselessly to bunker walls. Red arrows flood Germany like blood through broken veins. Soviet tanks are less than 500 meters away. The Reich Chancellery is rubble. And Hitler, the man who promised a 1,000-year empire, now commands a few frightened secretaries, wounded officers, and the ghosts of impossible victories. Inside his small concrete room, Hitler removes his iron cross and places it on the table. Eva Braun stands beside him. She's wearing a dark blue dress. No makeup, no tears. Just resignation. Moments earlier, Hitler shook hands with his staff. Not speeches, not inspiration, just soft, mechanical goodbyes. "Good luck," he muttered. "Luck left Germany years ago." The door closes. Silence stretches. Then a muffled crack. Inside the room, Hitler bites down on a cyanide capsule while firing a Walther PPK into his right temple. Eva Braun collapses beside him, poison stopping her heart within seconds. The dictator of Europe is dead before the Soviets reach the door. But the story doesn't end with the gunshot. His body is dragged into the garden of the Reich Chancellery. Bomb craters glow with embers. Fuel is poured. Flames rise, licking uniforms, skin, history itself. Hitler burns while Soviet shells explode in the distance, as if the war itself refuses to let him leave quietly. At 6:30 p.m., Soviet troops storm the area. They find ashes. No triumph. No parade. Just blackened remains in a broken city. The Führer is gone, but his empire is still collapsing in slow, violent pieces. And his lieutenants? They are now hunted men. Only hours after Hitler's suicide, panic spreads through what remains of Nazi leadership. The radio falls silent. Commands stop arriving. Generals stare at dead telephones. Couriers run through shattered streets carrying rumors instead of orders. Some choose escape. Some choose surrender. Others choose death. April 29, 1945. Northern Italy. Benito Mussolini's former ally, SS Obergruppenführer Karl Wolff, is already negotiating with the Americans. But elsewhere, Nazi convoys flee like animals driven from a burning forest. Among them is Heinrich Himmler, head of the SS architect of the Holocaust, the man who built the camps. But for now, Himmler disappears. He shaves his mustache, puts on an eye patch, calls himself Heinrich Hitzinger, a simple soldier. In his pocket, cyanide. In his mind, survival. Yet fate is already tightening its grip. Back in Berlin, propaganda chief Joseph Goebbels refuses escape. The bunker smells of fuel and death. His 6 children sit on a bed in pajamas. Blonde hair. Quiet, obedient. Magda Goebbels crushes cyanide capsules into their mouths one by one. No screams reach the hallway. Afterward, Joseph and Magda walk into the courtyard. She clings to him. A pistol fires. The Reich's loudest voice dies in silence. Elsewhere, Reichsmarshal Hermann Göring, once Hitler's chosen successor, sits in Bavaria with suitcases stuffed with medals and morphine. He sends a telegram asking permission to assume leadership. Hitler explodes in rage. Orders go out. Arrest Göring for treason. The man who once commanded the Luftwaffe becomes a prisoner of his own collapsing empire. But Göring will not die in Berlin. His ending is still waiting. Across Germany, Nazi leaders scatter. Some hide in forests. Some disguise themselves as farmers. Some bargain with the Allies. Some swallow poison before justice can speak. Every man who ruled by terror is now ruled by fear. And the world is about to watch how monsters face extinction. But among them all, one name terrifies the Allies most. Not Hitler, not Goebbels, not Göring. It's Heinrich Himmler, the shadow architect of genocide, now wandering Germany with a fake identity, a hidden capsule of poison, and nowhere left to run. And when British soldiers finally stop him at a checkpoint, history will witness one of the most chilling deaths of the entire Nazi leadership. May 21, 1945, 9:30 p.m. near Bremerverde, northern Germany. Rain drips from pine needles onto muddy boots. British soldiers stand at a dimly lit checkpoint, bored, exhausted, suspicious of everyone. The war is technically over, but the ghosts are still walking. 3 men approach. They look ordinary. Dirty uniforms. Hollow eyes. One limps slightly. Papers are handed over. The name reads Heinrich Himmler, former sergeant. Nothing special. But one of the guards studies the face longer than usual. Something is wrong. The man's posture is too controlled. His hands too clean. His voice too calm for a defeated soldier. When the British officer asks him to remove his eye patch, the stranger hesitates. Slowly, he lifts it. The eye underneath is normal, not wounded, not blind, fake. The officer's stomach tightens. "You're coming with us," the man exhales, not in panic, in surrender. Inside the holding center, the prisoners are searched, coats removed, pockets emptied. And when they check the quiet one's mouth, they find something hard wedged between his teeth. A glass capsule, cyanide. The British medic shouts, "Stop him!" Too late, the man bites down. His body convulses violently, foam floods his lips. His muscles seize like electric wires snapping. He collapses onto the floor, eyes wide, jaw locked. Within 15 seconds, Heinrich Himmler, Reichsführer, US architect of mass murder, commander of the death camps, is dead. No trial, no speech, no escape, just poison and a cold floor. The monster who sent millions to gas chambers dies in silence, choking on his own fear. Outside, rain keeps falling. The war is over, but justice is only beginning. May 9, 1945, Flensburg, Germany. Grand Admiral Karl Dönitz, Hitler's final successor, sits at a wooden desk pretending he still runs a country. Radios crackle. Officers stand stiffly. Flags still hang. But Allied troops arrive without ceremony. Dönitz is arrested. So are his ministers. So is the illusion of authority. The Third Reich officially stops breathing. Now the Allies want answers. And bodies. May 1945, Bavaria. Hermann Göring is found living like a fallen king. Suitcases of jewelry, morphine injections, silk underwear, stacks of art stolen from Europe. When American soldiers surround his mansion, Göring walks out smiling, overweight, still theatrical. "I am the successor to Adolf Hitler," he announces proudly. The Americans exchange looks. Then handcuffs click. The Luftwaffe commander becomes prisoner number 1. But Göring isn't afraid. Not yet, because he believes history might forgive him. He's wrong. July 1945, Nuremberg prison. Iron doors slam shut. The corridors smell of disinfectant and despair. Each Nazi leader is locked into a cell under constant light. Guards watch even while they sleep. Mirrors are angled so no one can hide. No cyanide, no privacy, no escape. Inside these cells sit the architects of catastrophe. Hermann Göring, Reichsmarschall, Joachim von Ribbentrop, Foreign Minister Wilhelm Keitel, Supreme Command of the Wehrmacht Alfred Jodl, Operations Chief Ernst Kaltenbrunner, SS Intelligence, Hans Frank, Governor of occupied Poland, man who once commanded continents, now asks guards for cigarettes. The world prepares its judgment. November 20th, 1945. Courtroom 600, Nuremberg. The room is silent. Cameras click. Judges enter. Göring tries to dominate the room. He mocks prosecutors, smiles at witnesses, crosses his legs like he's still Reichsmarshal, but the evidence arrives like artillery. Films of camps, mountains of corpses, survivors testifying in shaking voices. Day by day, their lies collapse. Even Göring begins to shrink, because he realizes something. This court isn't about politics, it's about death. And the sentence has already been written. October 1st, 1946. The verdicts are read. The courtroom holds its breath. Göring, death by hanging. Ribbentrop, death by hanging. Keitel, death by hanging. Jodl, death by hanging. Kaltenbrunner, death by hanging. Frank, death by hanging. No firing squads, no medals, just rope. One by one, their faces lose color. But Göring doesn't react, not outwardly, because Göring is planning something else. Back in his cell, Göring paces. Guards think he's broken. He's not. Hidden inside his personal belongings, somehow missed by searches, is a cyanide capsule. No one knows how it got there. Some believe a guard smuggled it. Others say Göring hid it for months. Either way, he smiles, because no hangman will touch him. October 15th, 1946, 10:45 p.m. Göring sits on his bed, writes a short note, then lifts the capsule. He bites. The poison explodes through his body. His chest jerks. His eyes widen. His lips tremble. And within minutes, Hermann Göring, Hitler's chosen heir, dies on his own terms, cheating the gallows by seconds. When guards arrive, the rope prepared for him hangs uselessly in the execution chamber. Justice is denied its final act. But the others won't escape, and in just hours. The remaining Nazi leaders will walk barefoot into the shadows toward one of the most haunting execution nights in modern history. Because when the prison doors open at dawn, the hangings of Nuremberg will begin. And some of the Reich's most powerful men will discover what fear really feels like.